What's going on, everybody? Exceptional Gabe here, back with another edition of Exceptionally Animated, the show where we talk with some of the greatest voice actors in the industry. And today I have a very legendary voice actor in Toronto. Please welcome Stephen Ouimette to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Gabe. It's my pleasure to be here.
Usually one of the first questions I always ask during these interviews is what was your first ever voiceover role in the industry?
Well, I had to go and look because I forgot. I thought it was Babar when I played Pompadour on Babar, but I went back and looked, and actually, I did additional voices on a series called Elf,
So that was a while ago. But
like
that was
87 or 88, around there.
yeah, that was a good show. And then like you mentioned, shortly after you did Babel, of course, which is a very iconic show at Nirvana. You were Pompadour, I believe.
That's right. And
And
I did the odd rhinoceros too, in Retaxis's army. Occasionally do a rhino.
what was some of your memories from working on Babel?
I just remember how it was like a family, like Gordon Pinsent and Sarah Polly was on that show, and it was just filled with all kinds of great people. And Corinne Coslow played Lady Ritaxis, and it was just we just laughed a lot. And Chris Wiggins, of course, who played Cornelius, and he and I had a lot to do together, and it was just like a ton of fun.
Hmm. And Elizabeth Hannah was in that show as well. And you guys also worked together on Beetlejuice.
That's right.
On Beetlejuice, that's got to be one of your most iconic roles. How did it feel voicing a character as big as Beetlejuice at the time?
Well, it was it was hard on my voice. It took me probably about the first 10 episodes. We do one a week, and after I do one, I'd lose my voice for a week. I would just, but I figured out how to do the voice without losing my voice, which was really handy. And I remember when the auditions happened, and I just got the movie and watched and watched and watched, and I copied. I got like Michael Keaton's voice down as close as I could, and then when we were in the audition process, they were like, "Yeah, that's good. You can do, but don't do it as much because he's, you know." In the cartoon series, he was with a young, innocent girl. So they were just trying to decreep him a little bit so it would be believable and not as sinister.
Hmm. And Beetlejuice again had an outstanding cast. You had Allison Cote, who of course would go on to do the Big Comfy Couch,
That's
and
right.
you had again Elizabeth Hannah, and you had I believe Taylor Strong was in that show as well.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, and do you know Tabitha St. Germain? She was known as Paulina Gillis at the time.
I know her very well. We did plays together in Toronto.
Oh wow, wow. Um, and you probably know that Catherine O'Hara passed away recently, who was in the original
I
Beetlejuice
know, very
movie.
sad.
Did you ever get to work with her or meet her in the past?
No, I was just a fan from afar. I never got to meet her or work with her, but I've always really loved her work.
Hmm. And trying to think. I think the Beetlejuice cartoon went on for like 4 or 5 seasons. I think that was one of the longest shows you were in as the lead characters.
Yeah, we went into syndication. I think you go into syndication at around 100 episodes, and we did just over that.
Hmm. So do you have any other memories to share of working on Beetlejuice from back in the day?
Well, there are certain jobs that it should be illegal to get paid for because that was so much fun. Like we just laughed the entire time. The scripts were funny. All the people that were working on it, the technicians, the directors, everybody that was in the studio, all had great senses of humor. So we just laughed. We worked hard, but we laughed a lot. And it was like my memories of it are just we had so much fun. And of course, Allison and I, we recorded all our stuff together. And if there was a guest star in the episode, usually with that person too. But then we didn't see the other people. So I really only worked with Allison all the time and the occasional guest star.
Okay. And one other question: are you still able to do the Beetlejuice voice?
Yeah, Allison and I went to a convention back in October in Niagara Falls. It's called Frightmare in the Falls, and we did a Q&A as part of that um, convention. And somebody asked me if I could still do it, and I was like, "Yeah, I can, but I don't do it that often. But if I really wanted to, I could. Hey, how you doing? Like I could still get it out once in a while."
I love that. That's amazing. So, another show you were in that was a very popular show at the time was Dog City.
I love Dog City.
And Dog City was a neat show because it utilized both Jim Henson puppetry and animation by Nirvana.
That's right. And I played Mad Dog, and all I did was growl and make crazy sounds. But whenever he got bonked on the head, he quoted Shakespeare for some unknown reason. So that was lots of fun.
hmm And what were some of your memories behind the scenes of that show?
Um, well, there was all kinds of Ron White, who played the lead detective. I can't remember what his name was, but there were a lot of stage actors in that show. So people who didn't really do a lot of animation, but were were there then, and it was so much. Like I said, animation. If you can get a job doing voiceover, do it because it's just the most fun you'll ever have.
hmm And then shortly after that show, you were in X-Men, which is another obviously iconic show, has a large fan base to this day. Again, a lot of legendary people in that show. I believe Allison Coe was in that show as well.
Yeah,
And wasn't Catherine Disher in that show as well?
Catherine Disher, and wasn't Lenore Zann
Yes, Lenore Zan was in that show as well.
Rogue? I think she played Rogue.
hmm So, what was the character you voiced in X Men?
I played Archangel, um, and he was his real name. Do you know his real name? Lord Waddington the Third or something. He had a big long name with a title on the end, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen much X Men honestly, because
I've never watched X-Men, so
yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
honest.
because I'm not really into superheroes, but I know it's got a huge fan base. People to this day from that show are still going to conventions, like Catherine Disher and Nozan are going to conventions for that show. So very popular fan base for X Men.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember the one good thing that happened around X-Men
Yeah.
was that I got to meet the legendary Stan Lee.
Ooh,
So that was a thrill.
that's awesome. And then after that show, weren't you in the busy world of Richard Scary?
I was in the I had to look that up. It's so funny because once I remember looking at my bio online and I called my agent and said, there's a bunch of mistakes on here. Like there's a bunch of stuff that shouldn't be on my bio. And they said, why? And I said, because I didn't do it. And they came back to me later and said, oh yeah, you did. You did that. And I completely, I guess I was doing so much, I just couldn't keep track of it. But I have some recollections of the busy world of Richard Scarry, but I did a lot of additional voices. So be a mailman or it wasn't like a featured thing. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there was another Pittsburgh Pigs. Have you ever seen that show?
Uh, it sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen it now.
Yeah, I was on that.
um, and you were also in The Adventures of Sam and Max.
That one completely escapes me. I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
did a lot of incidentals in that show as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So that's not something that would like kind of stick with you.
and this one, you did incidentals as well, so you may not remember this show. Do you remember Blaster's Universe?
Yes, I kind of have a vague memory of Blaster's universe. It was, I think I was an evil villain or something.
Yeah.
I think I was the bad guy.
Nirvana would actually utilize that same premise to another show, which is one of the most popular shows they've ever done. Have you heard of Cyber Chase?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still the longest running. I think it's the longest running show Nirvana's ever done, and it's
Wow.
still going till this day.
Wow. That's
um,
awesome.
and you were also in. Do you remember George Shrinks?
Yes, George Shrinks. That didn't last very long though, did it? I don't know how many
It
seasons
lasted
it had.
actually like 3 seasons, I think.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
Yeah.
great.
You were, I believe, the character you played, you were like some like music teacher or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. um, and another show you were in was Anne of Green Gables, the animated series. Remember doing that one?
I do because somebody not that long ago wrote me a text and said, "I think I just heard you on television." They were watching it, and I think I played the cartographer.
Yes, you're exactly
Yeah,
right.
and that he came on and they said, "Oh, I know that voice. I know who that is." And yeah, so I do remember that one.
And the character, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the character, in my opinion, kind of looks like you in the cartoon.
A little bit, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At the time, not now, but then maybe.
Yeah. And you were also in Piccola. Remember doing that show?
I love that show. I played Mr. Sarayama, and he owned a grocery store. I love that. I love that show. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm. And what a cool art style. Like, I believe it was based off of like a Japanese picture book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were all kind of cute. They looked like Lego people, kind of like little shapes, like squares and circles, and it was quite an interesting design.
Mm-hmm. And was the cast all ensemble in that show?
Pretty much. I mean, because of the way they record them, sometimes you go in like groups of three or four. It's very rare that you get a whole cast recording at the same time. We did some of those for X-Men, big, a lot of people in the studio. But I don't remember, it's usually two or three, maybe sometimes four at a time.
Mm-hmm. And what was some of your favorite memories from working on Piccola?
Oh, well. Um, like again, I sound like a broken record, but it was always like so much. We laughed all the time. It was it's a really good gig, animation. You just go in and the people are great and the scripts are fun and it's 2 or 3 hours and you're back out in the sunshine again.
All right. And then I don't know if you remember this show because this I think was another minor role you did. Do you remember Robo?
Robo Roach, yes, I do. I don't know what I played on that, but I remember being on it was such a great idea. It was kind of like a superhero roach, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And another person I interviewed, Jonathan Wilson. Have you worked with him? He was in
Yeah,
that show as well.
right, right. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if we ever crossed paths on that show, but I know he was in it.
mhm.
Maybe Keith Knight, was Keith Knight in that too?
uh,
I'm
I
not
think he
sure.
was. You know.
I think so.
Now I gotta look real quick. So let's
Okay.
see. um,
You must know a lot about animation,
Oh yes,
Gabe.
it's a passion. I absolutely love animation. I love voice acting, and I especially love animation in Canada. I think Canada has some of the most talented voice actors in both Toronto and Vancouver, which is one
Right,
of the reasons I do this podcast because I love highlighting the work of Canadian voice actors.
right. Well,
Um,
that's all pretty recent, isn't it? Like since the basically the 90s, because before that, all we had was they produced Care Bears.
yeah.
That's not that was really it. And then it was, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, it was after Beetlejuice. Nelvana got to produce Beetlejuice in Canada, which that would have been produced in Los Angeles, and it was the first time a major series was produced in Canada, and that opened the floodgates. Then once they realized that there was a ton of voice talent up here, um, they all rushed in, and then the boom happened. You know,
Mhm. Um, All right, so I'm looking right now. The main characters was voiced by Scott Thompson uh, and Ted. I'm gonna butcher the
Dykstra,
last name.
Ted Dykstra.
That's it, Ted Dykstra.
Yeah, he runs Coal Mine Theater now in Toronto.
Oh wow! And you have so many other talented people in World War World. It's like Jane Eastwood. I'm sure you worked with her,
Yeah,
and
she's so much fun.
Fiona Reed and Julie Lemieux. Just so many amazing people.
Yeah, yeah.
So after that show is another very popular show done by Nirvana. You were in Franklin. Remember doing that show?
I do remember. I like Franklin a lot. I think that was a very it was a very entertaining cartoon.
I believe you were Mr. Coyote.
I was Mr. Coyote, that's right. I don't know if he was a bad guy or not. I don't think he was.
Well, I don't think Franklin really had any bad guys because it was
No,
such a laid back show, like one of those shows where life is just so simple. That's one of the reasons Franklin is such a good show because it just, escapes you from the everyday life.
right, right. And teaches kids some lessons along the way, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm on the autism spectrum. That's another reason I do this podcast to spread autism awareness. And many people are also on the spectrum have told me that Franklin is such like a calming show for them.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And I believe you also were in the Berenstein Bears. Remember doing that?
The Berenstein Bears, yes. That was a it's been a while because I don't know what year that was. Was that in like the 90s?
Uh, 2004. There was
Oh,
a
2000.
version I think in the 80s, but I think that was Hanna-Barbera that did the original. And
Right,
then Nirvana did a version in the early 2000s.
right, right. Well,
Um,
that would be a case of like by that time I had moved out of Toronto. I was living just outside of Stratford. And so if I wanted to do some animation, I had to get in the car, do a 2.5 hour drive. I know it's not supposed to take that long, but with traffic, that's sometimes how long it took. And do the animation, get in the car and drive home. So, a lot of those are a blur to me, but I guess I did it.
and you were also you brought up Kill Bills earlier. You were in the Kill Bills Big Wish movie.
That was fun. And Chris Wiggins and I got to sing a song. We got to sing a whole song, a big production number. Uh, it was really, really great.
That's awesome. You were too loud, Bill.
Too loud, Baron. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I made a mistake there. I said Chris Wiggins was in that. He wasn't. We did a Babar movie where we sang a song together as Cornelius and Pompadour. So my mistake. That was wrong. Yes, Care Bears was I played Too Loud Bear, and his insignia on his chest was a megaphone.
Yeah. And shortly after that, we come to my favorite show you've ever done, which is, of course, Maggie and the Ferocious Beast.
Oh, that was a joy. That was so much. That was such a beautifully drawn story, and the scripts were just sensational. The mind of that author, Michael Paraskevas, just brilliant. And so it was really fun to do, and filled with such innocence and joy. And you know, um, do you remember what the pig's name was?
Hamilton.
Hamilton. Hamilton, and that was Michael Caruana who voiced that Hamilton, and he's from my hometown, St. Thomas, Ontario. So we knew each other way back in high school.
Wow. And I think Maggie was voiced by Kristen Bone, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. She was
Um,
very, very sweet.
did you guys all record ensemble, or were you guys separated? Do you remember?
I think with that show we were pretty much ensemble because all the scenes usually included all three of us, and then we'd have extras and guest stars and stuff. But we always recorded the three of us for sure every time.
Hmm. And you also had in that show you had Nedley the Rabbit, who was voiced by Dwayne Hill. I just interviewed him recently. Uh,
That's wow.
and there was also the Jelly Beans, who were voiced by Ron Rubin and Rob Tinkler.
Ron Rubin, he was in tons of stuff with me. He was in Beetlejuice, and Ron Rubin was in a lot of them.
Ron Rubin and Julie Lemieux, I practically consider them like the king and queen of voice acting in Toronto because they were in everything.
They were in everything.
And I'm trying to think, uh, I remember you had the singing cows, and one of them was voiced by Ellie Ray Hennessy.
Ellie Ray, yeah. Wow.
So, but that show is just amazing. Like you were saying, Michael Paraskevas, like he truly, brought to life the imagination of a child in that show.
Yeah, I love that show. It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm. Uh, what were some of your favorite memories of working on that show in the booth?
Um, Boy, I don't know. I just remember. I think back on it, and I remember it very fondly. I don't have anything specific. Like again, like if you can find a job where you have a really good time,
Mm-hmm.
then you found gold. Like, and I think all the animation I did was always just joyful and fun, and hard work, of course, but it was so like a gift. So um, you never have a bad day on a show like Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. It was always about discovering something, um, um, loving the people you were working with, and just having a really good time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And one of my favorite catchphrases was "Great googly moogly."
I know, I love that. Great, whatever that means. Great, googly moogly.
um, and that show also went on for a few seasons. I forgot how many. Do you remember? Like 3 seasons, I believe.
I think it did at least three.
Yeah. But it was truly a great show. And Michael did another show for Nirvana. I don't know if you heard of this show. He also did Marvin the Tap Dancing Host. You ever heard of that show?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Marvin the Tap Dancing Horse. Oh no, maybe I did. I think I did see a couple of episodes once.
yeah. That it has like the same animation style as Mag and
Right.
the Ferocious Beast, and I just absolutely love it.
Wow.
um, so after Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, let me get my list back up. You were in an episode of Wayside. Do you remember doing that show?
What was it called?
Wayside.
No, I don't remember that.
No. Um,
I remember doing Tales from the Crypt Keeper. There was quite a few of those, and Grossology.
Grossology. Yes, I remember
Yeah,
that show.
I think I did a lot of additional voices on Grossology.
I don't know if you remember doing this show. You were in the Dumb Bunnies. Do you remember doing that show?
I saw that this morning when I looked at my bio and went, I, I'm going to go look it up because I don't have any recollection, but it sounds hilarious. The Dumb Bunnies.
Yeah, and it has a really cool art style. Again, it's based off of a children's picture book.
Right. Yeah. No, that's one of the ones where I would have said, "Dude, you've made a mistake. I didn't do that." But apparently I did. And I am right after I get off this with you, I'm gonna go and look up Dumb Bunnies. And I did so many additional voices where you just pop in for a day and do a couple of weird characters and leave. So, I was on Bob and Margaret once, and I don't remember just one episode, but I can't remember. I think I played a really crabby neighbor or something.
Oh
But
yeah, Bob and
um,
Margaret. That was a good show.
it was a good show. So, I think that maybe I might have done more if I'd stayed in Toronto. But when in 1993, like I said, I moved to Stratford, and it just made it difficult. If I'd stayed in Toronto, I probably would have done a ton more um, animation. But my other passion, which is acting on the stage, kind of took precedence, and I sort of um, mainly did that. So it was hard to get away and do animation when you're doing 8 shows a week.
Hmm. And you bring up another good question. So you've done a lot of theater. Did you ever get to work with any of your fellow voice actors in theater?
Yeah, like I said earlier, like Paulina Gellis, who is now um, Tabitha St. Germain. We
Hmm.
did a play together at Theater Pass Marai. Like Ali Ray was in that. So the crossover would happen quite a bit. Michael Caruana, who was Hamilton in Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. I did a play with him at the Royal Alex called Three Men and a Horse, and so we all knew each other from the theater. So, you get a bunch of theater people in a studio who know each other, and I guess that explains why we had so much fun.
Hmm. And are you currently living in Toronto? Or are you still living 2 hours
No, I
away?
live out in the country. If you could see out the window now, I'm in the middle of 42 acres of trees. So I've been here for almost 30 years now.
Oh wow. Gotta
Yeah,
love that Ontario country, am I right?
that's right. That's right. Except for this winter, the snow. Holy cow.
Yeah, I
Snowed
know.
in a couple of times, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan, so we got a good
Oh,
chunk of the snow as well.
right. Do you live in Michigan, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm right on the border near Ontario.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Um
cool.
so anyway, one other question I wanted to ask you, do you have any final thoughts you wanted to tell to my audience who watches these videos?
Well, I I grew up watching cartoons. I used to say jokingly that I learned all my acting from Bugs Bunny, but it's kind of true, cartoons were a big part of my childhood, and I love them. I love them. So, and also going to this convention with Allison last October and meeting some fans, like I'd never done that before. It was the first time. And that was a real eye-opening experience, like how what you think you're doing and then what it actually does. Animation changes a lot of people's lives. It really does. I heard so many stories of, kids that were either in a bad situation or a broken home, or and watching cartoons was their kind of safe place and there where they could escape, like you mentioned earlier. So it ain't a cure for anything, but it sure can help. So I think that all of us who love animation just want to see it go on and on and on.
Hmm. I definitely agree with you. And, it was such a pleasure talking with you today. I've been wanting to have you on my show for so long because, like I said, Maggie and the Fortress Beast was such a huge part of my childhood. That was one of my favorite cartoons. And the Beast was absolutely adorable. He was like a little child, but he looked all scary, but he was actually just a little child. It was so cute.
Yeah, he was like a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What was one of your favorite characters you've ever voiced?
Well, I think because I was in it for so long, I have to say Beetlejuice. Like if you do something that for that long, like I said, it was over 5 seasons or whatever, 102 episodes, that you really get to know that character. And so, I could improvise and I knew the character so well. And sometimes my stuff would make it into the show and sometimes it wouldn't. But, you know, I think that was just because I knew him so well. I think that would be probably my babe.
That's amazing. And obviously, Beetlejuice probably has the largest fan base out of any show you've ever done because there's still people talking about it till this day who also love, the movie, obviously.
Right.
They grew up with the cartoon. It re-aired for years on syndication and on Nickelodeon here in the States. And
Yeah.
it's such a popular show.
Bringing it back, I just heard somebody just told me that Tubi, is it called Tubi?
Yes, Tubi.
Tubi's bringing it back. They're going to
Yeah.
start airing it again.
So I think Tubi has some sort of contract or something with Chorus Entertainment because a lot of the Nirvana shows are actually being uploaded onto Tubi, which is awesome.
Yeah, well, I saw the list and tons of Flintstones and like everything. Like they're putting a ton of animation back on TV.
And also the Maggie and the Ferocious Beast is on Tubi too.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Wow.
yeah. You're gonna have to rewatch it.
Oh, wow. I'll go and look it up.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I don't know if you remember any specific episodes, but one that always stuck out in my mind was there was an episode where the Beast took Hamilton's like little Papa toy without permission, and he accidentally broke it. Do you remember that one?
I do. I do. What a predicament, eh? Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I am gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. But it was such a pleasure getting to talk with you, Stephen. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, okay?
Thanks, Gabe. It was really great talking to you too. And I
Thank you
hope you
so
have a
much.
great rest of your day.